Today, this program has been hijacked by Anders Wood. That's right, you might be coming to the Outsider 68 channel, but today it's all about me. And why is it all about me? Because none of you matter. None of you are important. You're all scum. That's right. I'm telling you, when you're down, I'm going to get you up. When you're up, I'm going to get you down. When you're walking sideways, I'm going to make you walk forward. There's nothing I won't do to make your life that little bit easier when it comes to role-playing games. Because I'm Anders, the main man. Do you understand what I'm saying, boy? Do you understand what I'm saying? Gandhi, give me 20. You get down and give me 20, Gandhi. I'm not accepting it from you. Pacifism, not for people like me, okay? You gotta walk the extra mile, boy. Come with me on my journey. Listen to everything I've got to say. And then, when you've listened as much as you can listen, I'm gonna make you listen a bit more. 'Cause I'm Anders Wood. And I'm the main man. Don't you forget it. 'Cause when I'm angry, and I'm not angry yet, boy, I'm just a little bit annoyed, I'm going to make sure you remember my name, because I'm going to stamp it all over your face. I'm going to rub you up the wrong way. I'm going to make sure that you are what I want you to be, because I'm Anders Wood, boy. Anyway, coming back to normality for a second, you're probably wondering, what was that 1 minute 25 tirade by Anders Wood? Well, actually, today it is me, Sean Connors, Outsiders, here on YouTube. And no, the programme hasn't been hijacked. That is my attempt to be Anders Wood, who I massively respect. And he is the main man, and he's called that for a reason. It's one of those channels that if you're not subscribed to, I'd be surprised. And to be honest with you, I think even if your thing is flowers and you came across that channel, you just have to subscribe, because if you don't, he's going to kill you. Okay, it's as simple as that. So if you've not seen his channel, I'm going to put a little connection on the end of this video, of course. Please do subscribe to him. But I'm pretty confident, seeing how many subscribers he's got. I think you probably already have, to be honest, so that's good. But no, Anders asked a very valuable question, actually, the other day, and this is why I reply. I don't obviously get around to some of the big guns. I don't reply many times to their videos, because they're very good at what they do. But it's such a good video. I think it needs a good response as well. And he did a response on how he plays Wizards in his games. And he was referring here to 3rd edition in general. So 3rd edition, this is all D&D really. 3rd edition, 3.5, Pathfinder. That's effectively the mix. And he does a fantastic video highlighting out all the areas where he has issues with the system in all its formats, and what he does to correct it. And I'm not going to try and... there's so much about the video that I totally agree with, and only a couple of points I'll pick up on and agree with them a little bit more forcefully. And there are just a couple of things where, we differ. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the differences, because that'd probably be quite a good place to start. So the first thing I want to do is I'll probably start off, I think, by just covering a few things that I totally agree with him on. I think Wizards, the way he describes that they should be played is totally right. I think playing them vanilla and you just rolling dice and stuff is pathetic. They need to feel bigger than that. He's absolutely right. He says it in such a way that you feel the passion, and I love that about his videos. And he's right. That spells need to be described. The wizard has to work that little bit harder. I totally agree with him about they shouldn't automatically get 2 spells. I agree with that a lot. I mean, in some of my games, it depends who I'm playing. A lot of new players don't have the nuances to understand about working to try and get the spells. So I for newer groups, I tend to build that in slowly over time. But, in essence, he's absolutely right. That's exactly the right thing to do. Things need to be described. I've got a little thing I do a lot with my guys a lot of the time, which is I like them to, if it's a verbal spell, like he spoke about verbal, somatic and material, which I think is a great thing. If it's a verbal one, generally the way we work it out is I like them to use Latin. I just like Latin sounds so much sexier in spells, so it's quite nice. And this is long before bloody Harry Potter came along, let me tell you that. I'll try and do it in an Anders Wood style. It was long before bloody Harry Potter came along, trust me. That bloody parlour, I'd snap his broom and stick it up his... Anyway, you get the point. The bottom line is it came well before that. So I liked the Latin because it really worked, and it's easy. You could have a quick
instant verbal spell needs one word, and you can easily pick a word that's appropriate in Latin to the spell choice. And those sort of things are good. It forces the player to go away and do research, which is what he's saying. Come along with build a spell book. You don't automatically get two spells. You've got to go and do the research, do the effort. Of course, he's spot on. And he's right, the designers of the game. It's a lazy person's out. I understand why they put it in, of course I do. But he's right. You know, I use it slightly more sparingly than he does, but I totally see his point of view. Now, the thing where we differ a little bit here is, as I say, a lot of his stuff is brilliant. I may have to split this video into two to cover all his aspects out, which would be unusual, but probably because I rambled for so long at the beginning. But he uses mana points in his system. I don't. We don't use mana points in mine. I do play it by the book because... And I totally see his point of view because he was explaining about why he uses the mana points, and depending on the selection of spells the player's got, he can draw upon the selection using his mana point. All that stuff, totally, I see his point, and you know I can't argue against it. The only thing I can say is that the reason I don't use mana points is that a lot of the groups that I'm involved in, what I noticed when we tried this out in the past over several months was the fact that the players gravitate towards their most powerful spells, and the lower spells don't get used as much, irrespective of the wide range of spells the player may have. But I think that might have had something to do with the fact that, on reflection, and I think this is something Anders done very well, probably what I should have done is made more situations that required clever use of all the spell range. And I think, you know, that is what he was alluding to within his videos. He probably said it more succinctly, actually, but he did a good job on it. So that's, I give the variation out there. We've not used it because players tended to gravitate towards one of the more powerful ones, but I think it's how the DM, let me recap that, it's how the DM puts the challenges out there could mean the player has to think through his whole range, which would make mana much more exciting. So I do see both sides of the argument. I can see it for and against. I personally maintain that it's better to stick with the spell ranges and the amount of spells you get per day, because that's also what defines the difference between the magic user and the sorcerer. And again, he strikes on a couple of points in his video that I think they've done a much better job in Pathfinder, and I'm going to illustrate that. They did a really good job between the sorcerer and the wizard in Pathfinder. There's much more interest. The sorcerer's more a specialist in a way, but it's an exciting specialist now, where it was very vanilla before. So you probably, in 3rd edition 3.5, you could happily use mana points, probably. But in Pathfinder, it's a different beast, and it has changed a little. So it's something for the DMs to consider, let's put it that way. So we show two sides of the coin. Now, for this next part of the video, I think what I might do here is bring this one to a close, and then do the second video and upload both. So this has been part 1 of my reply to Anders. I hope you don't mind me, buddy, having an attempt at your voice, which I didn't get right. I'd need to wear a WWF belt, to be perfectly honest with you, and be strangling something like an old woman or cat to get it right. But I'm getting closer. One day I'll nail it. Anyway, I'll see you all in part 2. I've been Sean Connors. This has been Outsiders. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.